conversation. Let's get into an interaction with Mr. Habil Khorakiwala, the founder chairman at Wockhardt Group. Mr. Khorakiwala, thank you so much for your time today. And let's start by talking about your WCK 5222 drug that is often, we commonly know it as Zaynich. It's already on the USFDA fast track, and now you've also applied for the European Medicines Agency. You've applied for a marketing authorization application. Talk to us about what this application does for you, the geographies it opens up for you if it is approved, and the business impact.
Yes, this is our second application after the USFDA to EU agency. And one, they have put this on accelerated approval stage, which means they would clear the drug in 150 days. So that is excellent news we have received. And that would open up entire EU market with 27 countries which are involved, because this registration is available and applicable to all the 27 European countries. And we intend to explore this market sometime later part of the year or early next year. And we have multiple options, and one of the options we are seriously considering is to maybe licensing out in a limited manner. Or alternatively, we would be looking at something, but somehow we would definitely be in the market at due period of time.
Mr. Khorakiwala, with regard to Europe, I'll stick to that before I come to the US. With regard to Europe, how large, how significant is the opportunity? I understand US plus Europe is around 7 billion. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But Europe alone, how large is it?
Europe opportunity in terms of total incidence is about 150 to 200,000 patients. And that will get translated as a total opportunity is 1.5 to $2 billion. But we would certainly be able to capture something like 20-30% of this opportunity.
Well, that's large. And with regard to US, you're also pushing for a fast track there. What's the likely timeline, and how are we placed with regard to USFDA?
USFDA has indicated that they have already started the process. They are visiting our clinical sites. They are visiting us sometime next week in Switzerland. And they expect to clear the drug sometime in the middle of the year, around June, July period.
Okay, and Mr. Khorakiwala, what about the application of Zaynich in India? What kind of market are you targeting back home?
See, Zaynich in India, we have actually applied much earlier than USFDA, about 6 to 7, about last March. And it is still under the process. They just started reviewing after 9 months. So we expect that India approval should come more or less at the same time we get the US approval.
Okay. And how quickly can you ramp up production once these approvals come in? Give us a sense of that.
As far as India is concerned, we are ready to go on day one. After approval, day one means within a month or so. US approval, we will take another 3 to 6 months, 3 to 5 months to get into market, because you need to go to a hospital and get your product registered there. And a similar situation is there in Europe, which will take a little longer. Some countries we can enter in about 5-6 months. Some may take about 9 months or so, because you need a price approval also by the government, and that process also takes time. So somewhere looking at all these elements, one would say that in India and US will definitely be there in the current next fiscal FY27. And Europe, some countries in FY27 and some countries in early part of FY28.
Okay. Okay, that's an interesting timeline, Mr. Khorakiwala. Talk to us about how this shapes up your broader R&D portfolio, because we understand that a lot of QIDP designated antibiotics are also in the pipeline right now. How is that portfolio shaping up?
I think it is quite shaping up well. We have our next product is WCK 6777. And we are starting a phase 2 clinical trial. And I think in next 3 to 4 years, we should be going to the US, Europe, and other countries also.
Mr. Khorakiwala, but I will stick with Zaynich one more time. So
Yes.
therefore, if the European opportunity is around $1 billion to $2 billion, of which you are looking at a 30% share, how is it looking like in the US and how is it looking like in India? Because I'm trying to push the numbers to try and understand how they'll likely play out.
See, the US opportunity is about 200,000 patients. So it works out to be roughly $3.5 to $4 billion, actually, at the price point which is going around there. So that is what the US opportunity looks like. Our Indian numbers are very large. So we are still trying to assess, but I think one should consider somewhere opportunity between 200 to $400 million at the peak.
Okay. And Mr. Khorakiwala, just trying to prod a little bit more on this 6777 drug that you've just spoken about. If I'm right, you've received a fast track status over there too for that drug as well. What kind of opportunities are you targeting over there, and what is the market that you are seeing for that drug? I believe it's a pneumonia drug.
See, this is a very unique product, 6777. It contains zidabactam and ertapenem. So from clinical point of view, it's a fairly, you can very reasonably safely say the product will be effective from what we have seen the results so far. The second is it is the first and the only once a day antibiotic in the world, amongst the new antibiotics. So what it means is there is a large number of patients all over the world, in US, in Europe, in India, everywhere, are being treated off the hospital. Okay, there are certain areas where you don't have to go to hospital and you get treated. There are certain areas where you are there a few days, whatever time requires in hospital, and then 3 to 4 days you still continue to have antibiotic. So once a day is a very strong both commercial proposition as well as scientific option available in all markets. So that is a very different kind of market we would be able to capture.
Right. And with regard to MIQNAF, how are you building up with regard to the opportunity size there, and how are you working towards execution on that product?
See, MIQNAF, initially we applied. After 1 year, we got an approval. And that was, even though it was meant for community use infection, the drug controller gave a restricted approval only for the hospital. So we found a very limited track because 90% of use is in the community. Because it is a community, we did clinical trial as per community. But recently, about a couple of weeks back, they have reviewed the decision which we have been telling them, and they have now opened up to community linked infection. And one would really see a good track of MIQNAF in FY27.
And Mr. Khorakiwala, with regard to debt, how do you see that shape up, or how should an investor expect that to shape up? Would you be diluting any more equity to try and pay off the debt? Would you hold on now, expect monetization, and thereafter pay off debt? How does it work?
See, our current debt position itself is not very significant.
Correct.
If you exclude the debt the promoter family has put into it. So it's only a question primarily of family debt and some other debts. So our debt equity ratio is pretty low, less than 0.5 or so. So that is not our immediate concern at all. And I think we are more focused at this point in time on building this business in India and other parts of the world. And that is something which we will review it in a later part of the year, whether we have to do anything to reduce debt, or it will it will get reduced over a period of time.
Okay, Mr. Khorakiwala, really appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. Thanks once again for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you and your viewers.
Likewise, and wishing you a very good day.
Thank you.